Good morning. Thank you all for being here. I see a few familiar faces. Again, I'm Mayani Luther. I'm with the engineering department. I would like to introduce you guys to Justin and Stephanie Harris. You probably all know them. They work with me in engineering, and they're the main key players processing permits. So it's a good contact to have. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with some good news for you all. I would like to present this graph that indicates that air pollution has been significantly decreasing over the years. And we are able to accomplish this decrease through the implementation of rules and regulations, including vapor recovery rules. So most of you here are probably currently working with or have facilities with above ground storage tanks, and most of them are non-retail. So the emissions from these sources are not as significant as, emissions from other sources like retail gas stations, but there is still some emissions associated with it. And that's why we have requirements for your facilities. So let's get started by figuring out who needs to submit an application. And essentially, all ASTs equals or greater than 250 gallons need to submit an application to comply with standing loss requirements or phase 1 requirements, or both. The requirements, as I said, is standing loss controls and EVR phase 1. And we have requirements for retail sites and non-retail sites this presentation is only for above ground storage tanks. So for standing loss controls, all ASTs equals to or greater than 250 gallons, and the same applies to non-retail facilities. For phase 1 controls, all tanks equals to or greater than 250 gallons are required to install phase 1 controls. And for non-retail is above 550. That's what our rules require. So that kind of gives you an idea. Hopefully, all facilities here are equipped with standing lots at this time because the deadline has passed. So now we are working on phase 1 implementation. So what we've done is we're trying to make the permitting processing as straightforward as we can. We adopted an over-the-counter procedure. And basically, all you have to do is complete an application form and contact Justin Farron to schedule an appointment. So you come in with your application and the associated fees, and you leave the district with your authority to construct. So I want to show you the forms that you have to complete. I don't know if you were familiar with our website, but this is the main page. Here, I'll start from the beginning. So if you go to air quality permits, and then permit application forms, there are only 2 forms that you need to complete. And the first form is this general form that you're all familiar with, I'm sure. But essentially, you just have to put addresses and your information regarding your facility. And then the other form is specific to EVR phase 1 implementation. And we try to make it really simple, just asking you a few questions, and then you have to propose the phase 1 system that you want to install. And, if you have any questions on this form, you can call us, and we'll be happy to clarify. Or maybe when you come in for your appointment, you can talk to us about that as well. So that's it. That's all you have to do. And then, so you come in and like I said, you will be walking out with your authority to construct. I wanted to give you an overview of the application process, just so that you have an idea of what to expect. First, you're going to start with the application submittal. And then, like I said, you're going to come in, get your authority to construct, and then you're going to be installing the equipment. And once you're done, you're going to submit a construction completion notice, which is going to tell us that you're done with construction. After that, we're going to conduct a startup inspection. That's not a compliance inspection. That's just a startup inspection. We're going to be doing a pressure decay test and the PV valve test, all the tests that are applicable to your facility. And then once the tests are completed, we're going to be processing your final permit to operate. So there are 5 main steps under this process. So I want to show you real quick what the construction completion notice looks like, even though I'm pretty sure you all have seen it. But this is the portion. The highlighted portion is what you're going to need to complete. So it's basically just the date, your name, the certification, because if you're installing phase 1 EVR, you're required to have certification. So you're going to fill that out, sign it, and submit it to us. At that point, we're going to get ready to schedule a test with you. The other thing I wanted to talk about really quick is our permit attachments. We have, when we issue the authority to construct and the permit to operate, it refers to several attachments, and these attachments are important because it specifies the requirements that you need to comply with. So let me first, I wanted to show you where to find these attachments. Again, they are in our website. So if you go here, permit attachments, and you're going to have all these attachments when you get your permit to operate and your authority to construct. We're going to send it out with the attachments. But in case you want to find on the website, I want to show you where they are. So they are all over here, and not all these attachments are applicable to AST sites. My presentation, I highlight the ones that will be applicable. And some of them are only applicable if you have phase 2 controls. So attachment B basically lists all the tests that you're subject to. Attachment C is for your monthly throughput. So you needed to record your monthly throughput using attachment C or an equivalent form, but we provide you a form just in case you want to use it, or at least you have an idea of what we expect. Attachment D is only applicable to facilities with phase 2 and is for inspection, maintenance, and repair log. Attachment E, again, is also applicable to phase 2 only, and it's for dispensing for you to record your dispensing flow rate. Attachment K is what Randy was referring to. It has the certification requirements for the technicians for both installers and testers. And attachment M is a very important one, actually. Well, they're all important, but attachment M, it has inspection, maintenance, and repair logs for AST. It's actually pretty long. But the idea was to break it down for you and specify exactly what requirements are applicable to your facility. So don't feel overwhelmed when you first get it, because it's a few pages. But we just wanted to be very specific and let you know exactly what you need to do. And of course, if you have any questions, you can contact us and we'll be happy to go over with you. That's actually one thing that we do. When we issue the authority to construct, when you show up for the appointment, we try to go over these attachments. Of course, all the testers and contractors are very familiar with it, but if you have any questions on those, you can talk to us during your appointment. We try to go over these attachments during the inspection as well. So, there's, it starts with weekly inspection log, and then you specify all the components here, and monthly inspection log, and the annual inspection log. So, and then this last page is for you to report any problems that you find. So it might not be necessary, but it's there for your use. So again, it is pretty long, but that's because we wanted to be very specific, because we realized that if you try to use the executive board and the IOM, it's a very long document, and it can be a little bit confusing, not for the testers, but in installers, but maybe perhaps for the facilities that are not as familiar with the requirements. So we try to be very, break everything down for you.
My name is ConVault. I'm with the California Air Resources Board based out of Sacramento. The presentation provides an overview of the ARB's Enhanced Vapor Recovery Program for above-ground storage tanks at gasoline dispensing facilities. So our discussion topics today, we're going to go over the ARB's Vapor Recovery Program, just a little bit of history, Enhanced Vapor Recovery Program, which we'll from here on call EVR, and for the above ground storage tanks, and then some program information, some contact information, and possibly some new items that are coming up, that we're going to be seeing as the phase 1 deadline comes on. All right, we'll start with ARB's Vapor Recovery Program. Okay, if you follow along, ARB's Vapor Recovery Program, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You guys can look it over, but it's basically, the key point here, it's been around since the 70s, and it's mainly to control gasoline vapors, and it's really not a new concept. Now it's just being applied to ASTs on an EVR standard. So today we'll be covering the EVR requirement, which builds upon the previous developed controls that have been shown in history here. All right, so what is vapor recovery? Simply, it's the collection of containment vapors that are generated during the transfer of storage of gasoline that otherwise would be emitted to the atmosphere. So there's two types. This is transfer from a cargo tank, as you can see here, to the actual above ground storage tank. And that's the phase 1 version. And then basically, of course, the storage tank has the standing loss control. And then you've got phase 2, which is the vehicle from the tank to the actual vehicle. Okay? Go ahead. Okay, so ARB's Vapor Recovery Program, the purpose behind this program is to protect public health. And that's the key. The gasoline vapors are a major contributor to the formation of ground level ozone. Gasoline vapors also contain benzene, which is considered by the state to be a toxic air contaminant. And then, and when you look at this map here, the only part of the state that's green is in attainment, and that's the only areas that don't have to upgrade to the EVR system. So that's the only part that's in attainment. As you can see, the area you guys are in here is definitely not in attainment. So, all right. So ARB's Vapor Recovery Program. It contains basically 3 parts. ARB, our role is to establish performance standards and certification procedures for equipment that controls the gasoline vapors. We also develop test procedures used to certify vapor equipment, and we also certify vapor equipment or system, a complete system. Air districts, they're responsible for implementing the program and enforcing requirements by issuing permits, conducting inspections, and taking enforcement action. They also provide essential data that helps ARB to quantify the emissions and identify areas where the program can be improved. Industry, responsible for developing, installing, and operating, maintaining the control technologies, and they also contribute to the protection of the state's air quality. So. All right, get right into it here. We have Enhanced Vapor Recovery EVR for above ground storage tanks. So it says here in 2008, ARB adopted new vapor recovery system performance standards for above ground storage tanks. These standards are known as Enhanced Vapor Recovery, or EVR. Requires ARB certified vapor recovery equipment upgrades over a 4-year time frame beginning when the first system is certified. It reduces air pollution emissions to nearly 2 tons per day statewide. So EVR for ASDs, applicability. EVR applies to gasoline dispensing facilities located in non-attainment areas for ozone. Does not apply to diesel tanks, bulk plants, bulk terminals, or refinery storage tanks. Installation thresholds may vary in local air district rule requirements. I just wanted to point out also that there will be talk about this. This right here is a protected tank, and these are non-protected tanks here. All right, big question. Is your AST subject to vapor recovery? We're not going to go through the chart here, but you can see that each district has their own rules and regulations when it comes to above ground storage tanks. It's important to note that the owner and operator must contact a local district, and there's 35 different ones in California, to determine if the rules and regulations are pertinent to their application. Okay? All right, EVR for ASTs, upgrade deadlines. Okay, this is the meat of the presentation. What we're going to show you is all the new installations in attainment and non-attainment areas must meet EVR requirements. That's for new installations. For existing installations, that's our tanks that are already out there. The area in attainment that we talked about, the green area, do not have to upgrade to EVR. But the areas in non-attainment should have standing loss control requirements already in place, which was the deadline was this year, and meet the phase 1 EVR requirements by 7/1 of 2014. It's also important that since there's no phase 2 and ISD system available at this time, once a phase 2 EVR system is certified, all existing gas station dispensing facilities have up to 4 years to comply to that. Okay. EVR for ASD, standing loss control. Standing losses are the evaporative emissions that escape through the open vent pipes and leaks in a tank. They occur when the internal tank pressure increases as a result of diurnal temperature changes throughout the day. As April 1st, 2009, new AST installation must be equipped with certified Protect in-tank pressure vacuum vent valve. And as of this year of April 1st, the existing single wall AST must apply certified coating and install a PV vent valve. Some existing protected tanks may require coating and PV vent valve. Currently there are 5 certified above ground storage tanks, 4 paints, and 1 PV valve. All right, so here's an AST with standing loss control without the standing loss control. As you see, the sun penetrates down, hits it, absorbs it, and the gasoline vapors are escaping. Okay, here's an AST with standing loss control, which is the paint here that's painted on it, and it reflects the heat coming off of there. All right, so we go to the next one. It's EVR for ASTs. This is a phase 1 vapor recovery. All right, phase 1, control vapors during a transfer of gasoline from cargo tank to the above ground storage tank. Equipment similar to the UST systems, except they have emergency vents, non-rotatable vapor and product adapters, mechanical tank gauges. 2 certified systems are currently certified. They are OPW and the Morrison Brothers. So the lighted box in the yellow here is existing sites need to upgrade to EVR by July 1st of 2014. Okay. So basically what's happening here, which is kind of a little cartoon here of the, go ahead, hit again. The vapors to the truck and the product, vapors return to the truck and the product from the truck to the above ground storage tank. All right. EVR for ASTs, we have phase 2 vapor recovery and ISD. So phase 2 is the control of vapors during a transfer of gasoline from an AST to the vehicle. ISD monitoring system similar to a check engine light in your car. And currently there are no certified phase 2 EVR and ISD systems for AST. New and existing sites can use the pre-EVR until such a time as an EVR system is certified. Once a phase 2 EVR system for AST is certified, owners and operators have 4 years to comply to it. Go ahead. Okay, it's important to know the box in yellow here talks about the ARB, again, has not yet certified a phase 2 ISD EVR system. Therefore, our pre-VR phase 2 systems can remain in use. Okay, so basically we have here 3 of the page links here. The first is the ARB's Vapor Recovery front page. You guys should go to that to get the update. Secondly, it's one of the most common sites that people visit right now for AST is a frequently asked questions webpage, which has many common AST implementation related questions and answers. And of course, the district contact specific for EVR. Okay. As far as AST program information, the standing loss, EVR, the executive orders are located there. The phase 1 executive orders and the phase 2 pre-EVR executive orders are there. Want to also talk about incompatibility of phase 1 to AST. That's something that's a little newer. What ARB didn't want to do was open the gates up for people to get exemptions left and right. And that's not part of what we're trying to do. But there are exceptions out there where the current phase 1 system is not going to fit or be, and some of the reasons is maybe not enough bung, size, etc. There's an advisory that's currently being looked at, and it's advisory number 438, and it'll give you more details on how to get an exemption for phase 1 installation. But like I said again, it's not going to be a blanket across for a certain type of tanks. It's on a case by case basis. So the advisory will tell you, will give you more information, who to contact, who to send a letter to, but most likely be involved with districts. Obviously notifying us through email that we're going to be seeing a letter on a tank that they feel doesn't meet the requirements or something like that. But definitely look at the advisory on our website that when it becomes available, and that's basically with incompatibility to the phase 1 system that's been approved. Okay. We started. This is something new to us. There's an advisory going out. It's being looked at by various districts on this, and it's the. Has anybody seen the integral spill bucket that's out there? There's a lot of questions on how this could be converted to the new phase 1 system, because as you can see, the bucket is encased in the concrete, and what's happened is ConVault has come forward to approve this particular drain valve here that will be for their tanks, and this can be used. We're sending it's going to be an intent letter that's going to be available for this type of setup that you'll see out there. And they'll be able to put in this particular drain valve for this application so that you could still install the phase 1 OPW or Morrison. But originally we were thinking you had to put a hole through the lid, add the cup, another bucket on top, and then this becomes a major leaf water reservoir in here that's just nasty. So they've been on test for probably about at least 6 months on this valve, and it's passed, and the intent letter is on its way, because it takes us a little bit to get the EO updated, but that's going to be for the ConVault. Go ahead to the next one. The other one is going to be for the other above ground storage tanks that are out there, and this is for kind of almost like a generic type for the integral spill containers, and I've seen some super vaults that people have called about that have this kind of system. It looks like we're looking at approving just a drain plug that has to be one of these 3 types of material: stainless, brass, or galvanized steel, and then of course the torque specs to resolve that drain plug, and that way it can be also adapted with the phase 1 components as you see here. So, and our intent with this one was just there's other tanks we're finding out as we go through this that are non-ConVault, that are also integrated tanks, and this plug situation resolves, basically it's a generic type approval for tanks that are not a ConVault tank per se. Go ahead. And that's my contact, my number and my email contact.